hell is making the entire internet say, nope, this is all fake. Who else thinks that the Blue Origin flight was Hollywood fake? You can tell it's fake produced soundstage. Lighting and shadows are all wrong. Show me the actual interior cameras of the all-female crew. I don't believe that they are actually in there.
Command engine start. Liftoff.
Colonel, you better take a look at this radar.
What is it, son?
I don't know, sir, but it looks like a giant...
Dick!
Yeah.
Take a look out of starboard.
Oh my God, it looks like a huge...
Pecker!
Oh, where?
Wait, that's not a woodpecker. It looks like someone's...
Wang! Pay attention.
I was distracted by that enormous flying...
Willie.
What do you get when you launch a group of celebrities into suborbital space on a rocket that looks like it was inspired by a bachelorette party gag gift? Apparently a media frenzy, but not everyone's buying the hype. When Blue Origin sent an all-female crew, including Gail King and Katy Perry, on a historic flight, the internet didn't celebrate. It asked one savage question: did they actually go to space? Or was this just a glorified PR stunt cooked up by Jeff Bezos and his media machine? Buckle up, because this rabbit hole goes deeper than the Blue Origin rocket ever did.
People say, oh, it's frivolous. Number one, they call it a ride, which I find very irritating because they never say men went for a ride.
I have to stop. Men flew your dick rocket.
Gail King hit the airwaves post-launch with the confidence of someone who just discovered gravity. She bristled at suggestions that the Blue Origin mission was frivolous. It wasn't a ride, she insisted. But here's the thing. The Federal Aviation Administration says otherwise. According to their own criteria, none of the women on board technically qualify as astronauts. The FAA's definition is clear: you have to do something mission-critical to earn your space wings. Floating around for 3 minutes and taking selfies? That doesn't count. The craft itself was fully autonomous, meaning not a single person on board was responsible for piloting, navigation, or even flipping a switch. This wasn't Apollo 13, it was Uber in the sky. And while King passionately declared that critics weren't there and thus didn't understand the power of the moment, people weren't questioning the emotions, they were questioning the science. This wasn't the kind of mission where astronauts risk life and limb to push the boundaries of human exploration. It was a well-lit, highly choreographed event designed for social media impressions, not scientific breakthroughs. The message: if you're rich and famous enough, you can buy your way into the history books, or at least into trending hashtags.
Was only in space for 3 minutes. Oh, wow. What a valiant explorer.
Katie!
Let's be real here. The trip lasted 3 minutes. 3 minutes. That's barely enough time to microwave popcorn. And yet, the media spun it as a groundbreaking leap for womankind. No one's denying that an all-female crew doing anything space-related is cool in theory. But when that crew includes Katy Perry, who probably packed glitter in her flight bag, and the craft looks like it belongs in an Austin Powers sequel, you start to wonder, was this about empowering women or selling headlines? The internet was merciless. Memes flooded timelines. Dick Rocket Joyride trended. Critics pointed out that these weren't astronauts, they were passengers. No training, no responsibilities, no risks. Just a selfie stick in zero gravity. Calling it a ride wasn't insulting. It was accurate. That capsule was about as functional as a space-themed Disneyland attraction. And when people called that out, Gail King clapped back with, "They never say that about men." Except they do. When men do these kinds of flights, they get roasted too. The difference is, most don't try to rewrite the narrative as some feminist milestone. This wasn't a step for women. It was a leap for influencer kind.
Gail King. You're not an astronaut. According to the FAA, rules say that the Blue Origin crew does not qualify as astronauts because they didn't do anything.
One of the biggest red flags. The capsule looked like it had just rolled off a showroom floor. Spotless. Pristine. Like it skipped re-entry and went straight to a press event. Now let's compare that to actual space return capsules, like SpaceX's Dragon X, which re-enters the atmosphere looking like a burnt marshmallow. The heat, friction, and plasma involved in breaching Earth's atmosphere usually leave a craft looking like it went through a cosmic barbecue. But not this one. No burn marks, no charring, no signs of atmospheric trauma. Just a sleek, clean pod that screamed, "I've never seen a flame in my life." This sparked serious skepticism. People started asking, did this thing even leave the stratosphere? The footage didn't help. It all looked a little too polished, a little too produced. And when every single person on board emerges looking like they just stepped off a first-class flight, not a crash-prone descent from orbit, you start to wonder, was this a show or a shuttle?
Like, why exactly does the little dickhead that they're in have absolutely no signs of re-entry into the Earth's atmosphere. From like space into the Earth's atmosphere chars like a marshmallow, like a burnt marshmallow, these spacecrafts. And this is what a pod looks like when it's, well, returned from space. Right here. Here's the Dragon X capsule. Here's a good example. This, the reason why there are so many photos of it is because they just saved a bunch of astronauts who were stuck in space. You can see the thing is burnt to hell.
Then came the most jaw-dropping moment, the door. In video footage, someone inside the capsule literally starts opening the door. From the inside. What? That's not how real spacecraft work. Pressurized doors on actual capsules open outward and require external crews to unlock them.
Typical spacecraft have doors that open outwards and require a team of technicians working from the outside to unlock them, especially after a trip to space. It doesn't look like a pressurized hatch to me. More like a flimsy door.
Because opening one in space or during descent would be catastrophic. But apparently, the Blue Origin capsule had an inward-swinging cabin door-style hatch that someone almost casually cracked open. A crew member yelled, "Don't open it!"
I have a video of the capsule door opening from the inside. What's that now? So the dingbats, ding-dongs, bimbos, journalists, feminists, actresses, and pop stars who are trapped inside of this little dickhead capsule can open the door?
And then Jeff Bezos strutted over with what looked like a prop tool to do the honors himself. Why does Bezos, who didn't even go on this flight, need a fake wrench to unlock a capsule that was allegedly just in space? It's theater. And not even good theater. Viewers caught on quickly, calling it an inflatable tent with a door knob. If these people were truly in space, they wouldn't be cracking open hatches like it's a camping trip. This wasn't astronaut behavior. It was influencer improv.
Open the door. They get told not to open the door. Jeff Bezos gets some like fake prop and then opens it up.
Let's talk zero gravity. The footage of the women floating inside the capsule was treated like undeniable proof that they went to space. But here's the thing, weightlessness isn't exclusive to space. There's a well-known maneuver called a parabolic flight, often used in astronaut training and Hollywood movie sets. A plane climbs high and then descends rapidly, creating temporary weightlessness. It's not new tech, it's old-school physics. Could Blue Origin have used this method to fake the footage? Many think so. The weightless environment was conveniently the only footage released. No live re-entry cams. No body cam perspective. Just a handful of interior shots with Katy Perry doing her best space ballerina impression. If this really was a historic moment, wouldn't they be showing us everything? Instead, it felt curated like a highlight reel made to sell a product, not prove a point.
Another commented, "Pretty sure pressurized doors don't open inwards. The capsule looks like inflatable tent." And the only footage they showed of this was the weightlessness part, which you can achieve in a plane.
People started analyzing shadows, lighting, and reflections in the footage. It didn't take long before Twitter turned into a CSI lab. The consensus? It looked staged. Some noted that the shadows didn't match the lighting source. Others spotted inconsistencies in the footage angles. One user even claimed the interior reflections showed signs of green screen use. That's right, we went from rocket science to Photoshop breakdowns in 60 seconds. And here's the kicker. Hollywood has filmed more convincing space scenes. In the 90s, this wasn't Interstellar. This was Wish.com's Space Odyssey. When you combine a suspiciously clean pod, influencer-level antics, and a suspicious door-opening moment, the whole thing starts to reek of a Jeff Bezos-funded Netflix special, not a legitimate space mission. The internet smelled blood, and it went viral fast.
Hell is making the entire internet say, nope, this is all fake. Who else thinks that the Blue Origin flight was Hollywood fake? You can tell it's fake-produced soundstage. Lighting and shadows are all wrong. Show me the actual interior cameras of the all-female crew. I don't believe that they are actually in there. They brought like flowers and stuff and took a lot of photos of themselves. Anyway.
Now here's where it gets spicy. Why go through all this trouble? Is this a billionaire flex? A Bezos brand moment? Or is it something more strategic? Some theories suggest this was a PR distraction. A carefully orchestrated media stunt to redirect attention from larger, more controversial stories. After all, what better way to drown out news cycles than with shiny spacesuits and celebrity smiles? Others believe it's ego. Bezos wants to be remembered as the man who took humanity to space, even if it means launching Katy Perry for 5 minutes and calling it a revolution. But if the goal was to inspire, why not send actual scientists or women in STEM? Instead, we got a curated cast of talk show hosts and pop stars. It felt more like a reboot of Real Housewives, Galactic Edition, than a legitimate mission.
Does not have to be superhuman to adapt to space.
Would you vacation in space? Jeff Bezos' Blue Origin has completed its 6th tourist launch this week. Blue Origin is one of a handful of companies currently offering trips to space, including SpaceX, Roscosmos, and Virgin Galactic. However, space tourism has been around for decades. Dennis Tito, the first space tourist, paid $20 million to visit the ISS for tickets start as low as $125,000 and go up to $60 million.
As the dust settled, the backlash roared to life. The internet turned the mission into a meme machine. Not astronauts trended. So did Dick Rocket and space fraud. Reddit threads popped up analyzing every frame of video. YouTubers dove deep with exposés, comparing Blue Origin to 1960s space missions and ripping apart the inconsistencies. And then came the journalists. Not the Gail Kings of the world, but the skeptics. The independent reporters who smelled something fishy and weren't afraid to say it. They started asking uncomfortable questions. Why no footage of launch prep? Why so little telemetry data? Why so many unanswered questions? Blue Origin responded with silence. And in an age of internet receipts, silence only fuels the fire. Here's the part nobody wants to talk about: safety. If these missions are real, and that's a big if, then what happens when something goes wrong? This isn't a private jet where you can make an emergency landing. It's space, or at least really high up. If the craft malfunctions and there's no trained crew on board, what's the plan? A panic selfie and hope for the best? Putting untrained celebrities on a rocket and calling it progress is risky at best, suicidal at worst. It sets a dangerous precedent. Space travel isn't a joke, and it isn't safe. The idea that anyone can hop aboard with a fat wallet and a PR team undermines decades of actual astronaut training and sacrifices. If we treat space like a reality show set, someone's going to get hurt. Or worse. So what are we left with? A sanitized capsule. A suspicious door. A crew with zero qualifications. And a wave of public skepticism louder than any rocket engine. Whether this flight happened as advertised or not, one thing's clear. People aren't buying it. Blue Origin wanted to make history. Instead, they made headlines, and not the kind they were hoping for. Maybe it's all real. Maybe it's not. But when you stage a space mission like it's a red carpet event, don't be surprised when people treat it like a joke. Until there's transparency, real data, and missions led by actual astronauts, not influencers, this kind of stunt will keep getting the side eye from a public that's tired of being gaslit by billionaires with too much time and too many rockets. And now we want to hear from you. Was this legit? Or a high-altitude hoax? Drop your theories in the comments below. Smash that like button if you love exposing the truth, and don't forget to subscribe, because we've got more smoke to blow than Blue Origin's boosters.